Hey friends, Respects Gaming here, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Eternal. Well, today's the big day. We're going to get the rest of our stuff out of our crates and into our new computer energy system. We'll be forever working with AE2 at that point, and simple storage will be just a pleasant memory. It did us well, but it is time to be done with it completely. That said, we got a lot of stuff to cover here, so let's get ready, sit back and relax, and let's get started. We're going to do a quick another couple of patterns here. We're going to say one cobble. This is a processing pattern, not a crafting pattern. Gives us one gravel, okay? And we're going to encode that. And then we're going to say one gravel gives us one sand, also an encoding pattern. And so we encode that, or I mean a processing pattern. And then we're going to take these guys and we're going to come over here to the interface that is here for the what you call it, the pulverizer, and we're going to put these in here, okay? And this way, anytime that we need sand and all we have is cobble, for example, we could go from cobble to gravel. It would go back into the network, and then it would give me back sand because it would come back to here. So that's one way to get there using your pulverizer. So we can prove that real quick. We put that in there. Let's give this speed. That became gravel. And then if we did gravel, gravel becomes sand. And we get extra stuff from that, and that's not a big deal. You don't want to encode for possible things. You want to encode for exact what you know for sure will come, because then your jobs will get stuck. Like sometimes you might get a flint as well from doing the gravel to the sand, but not always. And if you tell the pattern that you expect that, then when it doesn't happen, the whole thing will get stuck. So only encode for what you know exactly will happen. Alright, and now with that done, the next thing we need, let's see, what was it we were doing? We got that, we got that, we got a way to make sand, we got a way to make glass then. What were we doing? I was looking at making these guys, I think. Yeah, I think it was how to get from cobble to glass, basically. So that's how you could get from cobble to glass. So if all you had was cobble and you click glass, it would grind up until you got sand, and then it would come back and it would cook it, and then you would have glass and you'd be good to go. So it kind of takes all of that legwork out. Is I'm gonna set up to create 64K drive components. These guys here are the storage components, where not the fluid, but this guy, 64K ME storage component. And remember, this was making 16s, which came from 4Ks, which came from 1Ks, which came from just this straight up logic processor. So these are all going to be just crafting recipes, and they're going to go over here on this computer, and I'm going to make the 4 recipes for each level of this, put it on that computer, and then I'm going to kick off making me a bunch of 64K and let the machine run. And it'll do it as long as we don't run out of material. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We could probably do that right now, actually. Is that 4? I have 3. Let me get one more blank. One more blank pattern. Blank pattern, please. Give me that. I got that. We put that right here. Right? Oh, you know what else? The reason I got on glass, now that I think about it, was I needed another terminal. So if we take another terminal, not terminal, sorry, we needed another interface. Interface. Bam. We go here. Now I have another interface, and I can take that interface. I should be able to slap it down underneath here, I think. Yeah, and now I've got more slots here for this crafting computer. So yeah, here we go. Real quick, we go crafting. No, it's storage component. Okay, and we're gonna start with a 1K. And we need to set this to crafting pattern this time. That's why it wouldn't let us do it. And now we know how to do, there's a pattern for making a 1K. And one thing I want to show is, wait, no, okay, we crafted it, duh. We have to actually, whatever, we'll put that back up in the network. Encode it, there we go. And if you hold shift, you see how it becomes the icon of what it creates. So that's another thing to know about that. So there's our 1K. And then we need the 4K. Alright, and that just wants quartz glass. The computer knows how to make quartz glass. The computer knows how to make calculation processors. And with this, the computer knows how to make 1K. So if we encode that, and then we can go 16K. And do that. Again, quartz glass calculation processors. This teaches it 4K. No big deal. Encode that. Bam. And then 64K is here. If we put that down there, it knows quartz glass, it knows 16, it knows calculation. It's got glowstone on the shelves now that it's connected to the shelves. Click that. Boom. So now the computer should be able to learn and make us a 64K from nothing, from raw components. It could take everything over here, grind it up, make it into what it needs. It can cook it, turn it into glass. It can take it over here, make the what do you call them? The computers, the processors, bring that back, then take all of those and put them together in here to make our thing. And I can prove that if we have the materials. Let's just make sure we have the materials. If we go to craftables only, and we want a 64K ME craft me 1 next. Looks like we can do it, and it's only using 1763 bytes out of our crafting memory. We hit start, this bad boy will kick off. He's doing things, man. He's pulverizing Certus quartz into that because it needs that to make seeds, right? So it's going to use that to make seeds, and then those seeds are going to go here into the enrichment chamber, see? And they're going to become, what do you call them? Pure Certus crystals. So it's doing that thing right now, and then it's going to take those pure Certus crystals, and it's going to send them over here to this thing, and it's going to compress them into, and it may not do that until it gets more of them running. Just be aware of that. You can look at your computer to see what status you're in, but anyways, it's going to send that over here. It's going to compress it into a printed circuit, which is then going to come over here. It's going to become a printed processor, and it's going to come back over here, and it's going to be used for what it's doing. So you can watch your steps here. This is 12 minutes for this system to make these, and of course you can speed that up. You can see what steps it's doing. That's not talking right now. I'm gonna have to figure that out, because normally that would show you what step it's doing up there too, a picture of that, but we'll get that worked out. I think I know how I'm gonna redo all of this anyways, where these are separate like that, and these are separate from each other. So once this gets working, I'll show you that. But the idea is I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to let it craft me all of these 64K guys, and then I'm going to fill my drives up, and we'll do that next time. Alright, so if we're going to upgrade the Pulverizer, you have to do upgrade kit. That's how you upgrade them. And then you can start adding augmentations to them, but you need to upgrade them first. So if we want to do, we're going to go ahead and just shoot for the highest. We need to make some Enderium. I don't know what that is, but if we look at induction smelting, that's sand plus Enderium blend. That will give us an Enderium ingot. Okay, so that was definitely just lead, ender pearls, and platinum. That gave us that. So I'm going to get all this out and we'll continue. Alright, so now we do the resident upgrade kit. We need 2 of these. There's some of those in there, and now we should be able to make this. Bam. And I don't know why it does that. That's weird. Now, I don't know how this works exactly, but I think if we just shift right click on it, we put it in here. No. Do we combine it? Let's pick it up. Grabbed it. Maybe we combine it. And crafting queue with the upgrade kit, possibly. Clear that. You go in here. You go in here. No. I'm not sure how this works. Crushes items. Signal disabled. Increment requires tier immediately proceeding. Ugh. So we have to go through all of the tiers. Okay. Well, what are those then? It can't be as hard as that, right? So if we do upgrade kit, and we want the hardened upgrade kit, that's just Invar. I know we have some of that. We can probably make a bronze gear. No, do we not have any bronze? Okay. Can we do silver? We can do silver. Kind of wish it didn't clear like that. If you do it up here, it probably won't. Upgrade kit. That's hardened platinum glass. Okay. Electrum. I know we've got Electrum. I don't know if we have any of this. We'll have to make that. So yeah, give me... I'll work on this offline, and then we'll come back when I have all of these upgrade kits ready to go. Okay, so as it turns out, I actually couldn't do this one. We could do this one, because fused glass we've done. It comes around... I don't know what some of these glasses are, but it comes around to fused quartz, and we've done fused quartz. But we couldn't do signalum, because we've never made signalum ore, and we don't know what cryothium is. That's like using something called blizz powder, so maybe we'll look at that later. But we couldn't go that far, so it's funny, we could do the first two, and we could do the last one, but we couldn't do that one. What the heck did I do with that first one? Is it in here? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so we can do two levels, but we can't do the resonant one. So we'll put the resonant one for now in here, and we'll get it later. But this, maybe we do you, and we do you. Maybe we just do like I thought. I just didn't have the right one first. So let's put him back real quick. Donk-a-donk. Bam. And do we... Bam. He's now block upgraded, and then we can do the second one. He's now fully upgraded, and now he can hold a lot of stuff. So if we take... Let's take... Nope, that's not what I want. I was trying to go to my remote. My remote doesn't work anymore because we still got to get all that working. But if we come here and we get cobble. Boom. And let's see what happens when we throw cobble in here real quick. Boom. Oh yeah, without even doing any time in the bottle. Look at the speed difference. So if we can give the other two, this will really make this nice. And then not just that, but we can also put augments in it that basically increase max power usage, or give you a chance to get a secondary product, or produce 1.5 times the amount when processing ores and things. So there's things that we can add to this, which we will going forward. But this will at least speed up this step when we get to this step. Now this guy, I don't know. We'll look at him in a bit, because this is... What is this? This is mechanism, so they'll have their own versions of upgrades. Same with the furnace. I think we might look at making a... What is it called? Is a Supremium Furnace? Because I think they're super fast. So if we look at Supremium Furnace, this guy here, he requires all the lower versions, of course, which is just the next version down, next version down, next version down, and just a furnace. And I think he's super fast, so we might experiment with him later too and see. But yeah, so for now, our crusher's at least faster. It's not at its best, but it's faster. Okay, so a bit has changed around the base since the last segment. I'm going to go into all that in a minute, but the first thing is I wanted to show you just a quick time lapse, like a 1-minute time lapse of how crafting 1064K components works. So enjoy that, and we'll be right back. So as you can see, by having set up the system, the basics of what I did already, it made it really easy to craft more drives for this computer. Now this is what I want to do. I want to fill these guys up, these bays up. So we're going to do that in a second. But let me show you the changes we've got around the base real quick. Since the last segment, obviously my computer looks different. Mostly it's just facade. So if I pop these off, you can see like all the cables and stuff are there. I made facade out of factory blocks. I chose this texture. I made the factory blocks with a chisel first, textured them like this, and then I put anchors around them and they made these facade. I moved the crafting pattern terminal up top here because I kind of like the way this looks, and I put some lanterns here for some light. So I think it looks pretty nice. I've redone the crafting computer so that we have the co-processing units. I've got more of those because this allows you to do more same time tasks. The more of these you have, so I think I've got like 7 of them here now. That's the 64K crafting memory there, and there is the crafting monitor, and it does show, as long as you've got something going on that's takes long enough, you'll be able to see it on that, what's being crafted. And we've got 2 more interfaces here, so I've got more pattern space to do more patterns. We're going to need to do another crafting computer, I think, because this one will tie itself up completely with whatever you've got going on. And so if you want to, you know, auto craft like 3 or 4 different things, you're going to need like 3 or 4 different computers to do that. Over here, I have moved all of the importing into my network to this spot here so I can shut it down if I need to. So like this is a ender chest that comes from all of our cloches. So I've got all the cloches dumping into an ender chest now, and that way they all come in through here. This is the ender chest for all of the machine stuff that we got, like our flux automation, and you can see I've got the mystical agriculture farm on the surface that does my inferium here. It comes in through that, and then yellow is all the food. So all of our food comes in this way, and it happens so quickly that it takes it a while just to even export it out there. So that's everything fish and the vegetable garden and stuff. We may have to separate that out. Right here we actually have a trash bin, and then basically in this, if you look, I've got a big item filter. And this is all the stuff that was coming in from the fishery. It goes here to be trashed, and we got 3 more rows of stuff that we can take out of any 3 of these if we decide we don't need to keep that and send it there instead, because this has higher priority. So if you look, this guy's priority is 10, which everything else is 0, so it just dumps right in there. Anything that is in that filter will get thrown away, and then the rest goes into this, which is then connected in the back, which we can go back here real quick and I'll show you. Connected in the back here to an import bus, and we've got 2 acceleration cards. I think we're gonna, this is good because this thing really doesn't fill up. It's more that these guys take a while to pass through than anything, but even these guys, you can see I've got 15 extract speeds on each of them, so it's going as fast as it can. We might be able to help that one out by taking some of that stuff out and sticking it in there. Now this is a redstone line that goes over the building and that way, and that's, I'm going to show you why that is specifically. So let's say you want to know what's on your disk drives, right? And because we've got like 3 different shelving systems, 3 different storage drawers hooked up to this system, it's going to be really hard to tell that. So if you look at all the items that you have, like everything you have in these drives and on the shelves shows up in here. And it makes it hard to tell because let's say you had fish, you had 5 fish that somehow got on a drive, it's still only going to show 512. Because it's going to combine all of those from all sources, and you're going to see that, and it's hard to tell how much of this is on a shelf and how much is on a drive. Well, what I've done is I've added some sticky pistons, and they are right above. This is actually, see it says cable facade. This is that brown line that runs that way, and then this is the orange line that runs that way. And I've got a kill switch here, which when activated, it's got redstone conduit on the back of it that connects to this guy, connects to this guy, and it runs over that way. So if we kill switch it, you see how it breaks the line without actually breaking it. Because the only way I've found to be able to break these big lines is by breaking the cable. There is a thing in this, I forget what it's called. It's a you can hook up the glass cables to it, and then you can cut. It's like a switch that you can cut the glass cables, but that's really only good for doing like a machine that's hooked up to it. If you want to turn that machine off or one connection, there's really nothing for the big ones that I've seen, or at least not that works. I tried playing with that other thing. What the hell was that thing called? If we do bus real quick, it's on the drive because I played with it. Yeah, right here, toggle bus. You can put one of these on a glass line, and then you can switch it on and off with a switch. But it didn't work for the dense cables. Either way, that works. And why is the redstone running over the top to the back? Oop, wow, sorry. Why is the redstone running over the top and back to these? Well, if you continue importing stuff into your network when your drives or when your shelves are offline, they're going onto the shelf. They're going into the drives. So you don't want all of that food and all of that other stuff, the monster hopper or the monster grinder and all that. You don't want that going onto these drives and filling your drives up, because then, you know, what the hell? Then your drives are filled up real quick for stuff that you've got on a shelf. So what that does, that redstone line, is it comes in here and it connects to all of these, and I've got these set to active without signal. So they stop exporting out of these, and you'll see they're starting to fill up already, right? They stop exporting out of these when that turns on. The problem is, and be aware of this, when I flip this back, what's going to happen is that redstone signal is going to allow that import to start immediately, but it takes it a few seconds for the drives and everything, or the shelves, I keep saying drives, for the shelves to come back online. So for a few seconds, it's going to start importing that stuff onto these drives here instead of onto the shelves. So unfortunately, there's no way for me to really, I mean, I'm sure there's like some machine I could build where I could time it and everything, but really, I just want to come over here and I want to say extract never active insert, just so it keeps the connection, but so nothing actually happens. So I'm basically shutting down the import at this point, and I'm doing that manually so that when I flip this back up and I reconnect everything, give it a few seconds, once I see that the shelves are back online, which it could take it there. See, they just came back online. See, at first when we opened they weren't. Now that the shelves are back online, I can reactivate this, and the redstone signal is gone now from the other side, so these things will start dumping into here again, and then it'll go back to the drives that way. So you got to be careful of your timings on some of that stuff, you know what I mean? Over here I moved things around a little bit. I put signs up so you can see what everything is. We did make the redstone furnace because I wanted to test it. Redstone furnace is made, or I'm sorry, not redstone, this is the Supremium furnace, and that is made simply by taking a regular furnace. Let's back up all the way. You put inferium around it and a block of inferium, and the block of inferium is just a bunch of inferium, and then you take that and you dump it into the next level with prudentium, and that's just another group of prudentium, and then you go to the next level and you basically go all the way till you get to this. Furnaces are weird in the way that they load, so I had to set this system up to have, this is an export bus here, and on top is an ME interface. Now the interface right now just has that glass pattern, so it knows, hey, bring a sand in to the top here and we'll get a glass out. But what the side thing does, this is an export bus, and all I've done is I've put a block of coal in here. So I told the network basically just keep exporting coal into this thing. So basically it's just going to always fill this bottom slot with coal so that this thing runs basically on its own. And since we automate coal, I don't have to worry about ever running out of coal. Plus that thing is super good. Do we have any sand? Alright, let's craft some sand real quick because I want to show you how quick this is. So there, now we can get sand. While that's running, you can see that I moved the import out from underneath to the center here because I basically just wanted to do a center line that fed both sides. Our power is here. The item conduits come through here, dump into this box. He re-imports on the back. We've got our enrichment chamber, we've got our pulverizer, we've got our energetic infuser, and then we've got these guys. And this is an interesting one because the metallurgic infusers, they basically, well, I said infuster. I'll fix that. They run with 3 different materials that they infuse other materials with, and that goes into this slot, right? So you put like redstone here and you put iron here, and then you get reinforced alloy. And then this one will want reinforced alloy plus diamond. And then this one will want whatever that came out of that last one and do plus obsidian, or it's a different kind of obsidian. But basically, you run the risk of, if you try to use a single one of these, you run the risk of sending something over here to get infused with diamond, and there being redstone still in this buffer. and then the system shuts down or it gets locked up because it can't get the diamond in there. So you basically, your best bet is just to do one for each material. And then I've handled routing to that by sending everything that I want for these into this container. So if you look at the interface going into that container, it knows how to make a enriched alloy out of an iron and some redstone. It knows how to make a reinforced alloy out of some diamond and that enriched alloy, and it knows how to make an atomic alloy out of the reinforced alloy and refined obsidian dust. And then to get refined obsidian dust, we send that here as well. Actually, come to think of... No, yeah, okay. We need that individually because the refined obsidian dust actually gets made at this level. But what happens is all of the materials for any of these go into this, and then using filters in here, we routed what goes to what, right? So we know over here, we only let iron in here. But through the top, we let the enrichment materials go through. So if you look at the top of this one, he only lets redstone through, this guy only lets diamond through, and then this guy only lets refined obsidian through. So the enrichment material goes in the top, and then in the back we send in the materials that we're doing. So as we find recipes that we want to enrich, we'll add those to the filters in the back of these guys. So anytime we order something, it knows which one to send to because the Ender IO will handle the routing of that. So anytime you get something like that, remember you can mix the network with some Ender IO or whatever other kind of item routing that you like. So that's what we've set up here in the front. Now let me show you what's going on in the rest of the base, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're up top one floor, sort of, or in between floors, and we're underneath our smeltery here. And one thing I've done here is instead of running this dense cable all the way down here and into these things that we had, the shelves, I've removed the dense cable and gone with just glass cable. Because remember, this connection off the face of this can do 32, but this glass cable can only carry 8 channels. But since we only have 1, 2, 3 here, that's fine for this. This becomes 4, still fine. That's going to be where we dump our stuff, and that's an import bus, and I've got it set with 2 acceleration cards so it'll import quicker. But since that's only 4 connections, we don't need to run dense cable all the way. So I broke all that dense cable out so I could reuse it otherwise in other places. We get back here, we're still got 4 lines. This becomes 5, this becomes 6, that becomes 7. But since we have 32, we're still totally cool, right? These are the things underneath my underneath the smeltery drains. Whenever we make blocks or ingots, they'll get imported. It's just an import buses. And then over here we still need to work on this. This is the export for the gold that we had talked about. So we'll need to hook up an export bus there and then tell it all the items we want to export. We'll do that probably off camera. This guy runs down. Again, we only needed so many lines. This guy runs down this way, so we didn't use dense because this is a single connection to this guy, to this drawer controller. And we changed this out for a ender hopper, or an ender chest that you saw on where it dumps into from the other side. And then the same thing for my cloches here. For all of this stuff we're growing in the cloches, he dumps into this ender chest. And that way I can control what's being imported and what's being exported from my system from right around my computer. Otherwise you're chasing all over the place trying to shut things down, and you really don't want to have to deal with all of that. So that's what we're at here. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to get these things emptied. And the sooner we get these emptied into the system, the sooner we can replace these slots with more drawers. And that way some things can just live on a drawer. So we're going to do that next. So I'll see you back downstairs for that. Alright, so we have 3 64Ks. There's 17 left to fill these drives. So if we come in here and we do 64K, and we want to make these drives here, these storage cells. If we click that and do that, I've already made the housings. We have the 64K storage components. So let's make as many of those as we can, which should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we only made 17 housings. So now we can fill these up. Alright, so now we can fill these drives up with 64K components. And then hopefully 20 64K drives is enough to handle all of the crap we've got stored in those guys. So the next thing we need then is import bus. So I need to make one of those. Let me pop that back up in there. Let's see if I have one. Import bus. I do not have one, so we're going to make one. Out of that, we need a sticky piston. We need a piston. Alright, fine. Be that way. Oop. Boom, boom. Make a couple of these. Then we can make the sticky version. And then we can make the import bus. There we go. We have 3 capacity cards and an acceleration card. I don't need capacity card. I think I need more acceleration cards because I want this to work fast, otherwise it'll take forever. Acceleration. Where are you? This guy. Do I have the materials for that? I do. I need one more. What am I missing? Probably a basic card, an advanced card, 2 more diamonds. Suppose we can afford that. And then 1 more acceleration card. That's 3 acceleration cards and a capacity card. There we go. Alright, and then we need glass cable. So let me get some glass cable. Make sure I have some of that. Oh, I have some in my inventory already. We're going to head back up here to where these guys are. Probably get through here, actually. Aha! And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, one at a time, I'm going to put this import bus on the back of one of these, right? And I'm going to fill it like this with cable, and then I'm going to put 3 acceleration cards and a capacity card in there. I don't think the capacity card does us anything right now because I think it's just for filtering. And we're just gonna let this basically drain out everything that's in this container, and then we'll move it down, and then we'll move it there, and then we'll move it there, and then we'll move there, and we'll do all that whole thing, and we will slowly empty all of these into our new network, and then we can remove all of these. So that's everything here. So now we can go on to the next one, and I will continue doing that on all of these, and I will bring you guys back when I am done. Okay, so we have basically 4 rows of those crates full of stuff in there. There's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. This is after 1 row. You see how many discs we filled up from the crap that we found already. That said, I'm thinking that our best bet is going to be to add 2 more drives and fill them up with 64K as well. Otherwise, we're just not going to have the room here. So I think what we're going to do before we get the rest of those is we're going to make some more 64K storage components. We're going to let this run, and we're going to then fill 2 more drives full of 64K components. There are larger drives, but I'm not sure. If we do storage real quick, storage, if we look at where are the regular drives? These are fluid, this is gas, where is storage drive? Our storage cell. Let's do it that way. We'll filter that way. These are bigger storage cells, but I don't know if these store any more items. No, these still just store 63 items. So it's not even that I'm worried about the space, because we can store a lot of every kind of item on these drives. It's just the item numbers. We can only store up to 63 items on each drive, even if we use the big ones. So we really need more drives. And that way, you know, we forever have space, because even if we get a lot of one item, it'll still store on that same disk. It's just we need individual slots within each drive. So let me do that, and then I'll be back. Alright, well, since we're going to have to spend some time crafting those 64K, you can see there's still 14 of them running right now. This will take a little while. I'm going to go ahead and call this episode here. Between episodes, I'm going to get those new drive bays up, fill them with discs, and pull the rest of the stuff out of my old network system and get it put up. We'll probably put up some more shelves in place of where those crates are too. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up with them. I will answer them as soon as I can, probably in chat or in the comments before I do it in video. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.